Hi, I'm Mark Buckingham, artist of Fables and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and Wonder Man and 101 other things that you'll be seeing in your comic book stores soon. And you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
It's 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 1014, and I am Vince May.
Damn right you are. I am David A. Price.
This is, of course, true, and I am Uncle Scrooge McDuck.
Oh, I'm a little bit scared.
Kind of fitting.
You know, it's neither here nor there, but Jason Aaron's name came up. Of all places, a Wolverine. Did you know that Jason Aaron won the equivalent of, I don't know, new writer or writer in training? This is Wolverine, I don't know what volume it is. No, 174, 173. So it's volume 2, right? And they said, a story by winner and reigning champ Jason Aaron. And I was like, holy crap. Jason Aaron's been around a long time.
Bro, that's his origin story. He won a talent contest in 2002, right? So over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then and he wrote that, and then he, as the story goes, he didn't get it. He thought that would like be his in, and he'd get a job, and he didn't. And then he ended up, the next thing he did was the other side, where he had to hop over and
Yeah.
This story was not very good.
Right, but first time, right?
Yeah, first time. Neither was the Wolverine. I think that's the problem with Alpha Flight is the French. Every other sentence is in French. I think people are read it and they think, "Fuck this." You know what I mean? I love the Canadians. I love French Canadians, but how many times can you read "ne sais pas" or however you say it? I like if they did Alpha Flight Canadian, but did away with the French, I think they would glom on better than they have. But I'm racist anyway.
But I mean, but what about Madripoor? Or when fucking Gambit shows up anywhere? I mean, they always got to try to
it's true.
slip that
it's
in.
True. There's only so many times you can read sugar without rolling your eyes.
This is gonna be Vander's favorite episode.
This episode is brought to you by CheapGraphicNovels.com.
That's right.
CheapGraphicNovels.com. Everything you need to know is within the name. OGNs, Omnibus editions, trade paperbacks, collected editions. What am I forgetting? Art books, anything with a spine. Cheap Graphic Novels has it for less than retail. Far less than retail. Max looks at the back of the book and sees the retail price, and he chortles to himself because that's not what you're going to pay. And if that wasn't enough, they ship beautifully. Too much paper.
It's true.
Max, too much paper.
That's fine.
I'd rather too much than not enough.
Yes.
And I'd like to thank Max for going above and beyond. I'm going to send him a personalized message, but thank you, Max. And if that wasn't enough, specials.
Oh, there are specials. We got specials.
Yeah.
We got a few. There were some posted to the Slack today. This week, it's not a massive week. There aren't even there's barely 60 new releases this week, which is fine because it's the end of the year. We're nearing the end of the year. We all got plenty to read.
Is it the fifth week?
It's I don't know if next week is a fifth week. It might be.
I don't know.
But our specials include Metal Erland, Volume 3, The Monster Within graphic novel for $22.49. What makes a monster? Is it a strange and horrific physiology, a cruel and vicious disposition, a malevolent and otherworldly air? Perhaps the answers lie under your bed in the deep, dark woods, behind your eyes. Monsters look everywhere, and you will find them aplenty, from the deceptively adorable to the mind-breakingly incomprehensible, from the fantastical to the all-too-real within this installment of Humanoid's celebrated genre anthology, Metal Erland. Inside this 272-page monster of a tome includes interviews, and it's a massive anthology, and there are a slew of creators attached to this edition, one of which you are hearing tonight. So kudos to Vince for being published in Metal Erland, and my copy is on the way. We also have...
I will say that Matthew did that. I always say it because it's true. Matthew did the majority of the heavy lifting. I just tagged along.
It's fine to say. I mean, the both of you are in a collection with folks like Durfback Durf, Mobius, Bilal. You've got. I mean, there's just it's a great. You've got Myriad Kim. There's just. I mean, I'm looking at these names, and I mean, a bunch of them, of course, are French, but so I'm not going to try to attempt that. Yeah. But
like Alpha Flight.
You've yes, that's right. This might as well be published from Department H. So you also have Warlord by Mike Grell, Omnibus Volume 1 hardcover for $59.99. Lieutenant Travis Morgan has crash landed, trapped in a mysterious land where ancient magic rules, dinosaurs roam, and warriors battle for survival. He must learn to live by the sword or die trying. From legendary creator Mike Grell comes the beloved Sword and Sorcery series that became a phenomenon, really. Finally remastered with original colors, escape into the jaw-dropping art and tales of magic, war, and love in his oversized hardcover celebration. Volume 1 collects first issue special number 8 and Warlord numbers 1 through 36 with a brand new introduction and painted wraparound cover by creator Mike Grell. And finally, Wet Moon 20th Anniversary Omnibus Volume 3 trade paperback for $26.24, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Sophie Campbell's landmark series Wet Moon. The final of 3 softcover omnibus volumes collects these stories: Where All Stars Fail to Burn, Yesterday's Gone, and Morning Cold. Now in a larger trim size with newly illustrated covers by Campbell. Cleo's budding romance with Myrtle takes a turn when Myrtle's sweet act of affection shifts to growing jealousy, aggression, and manipulative behavior. With everything else going on in Wet Moon, Natalie being attacked, Audrey breaking up with Beth, and Trilby being distant, Cleo isn't sure she can take it anymore. And then Trilby is attacked and left for dead in the swamp surrounding town. Hard truths come out and everything changes. Once her attacker is off the streets, how will the friends come together again to support Trilby? Can it ever be again like it was for the residents of Wet Moon? Those are your specials this week from Cheap Graphic Novels.
Love it.
cheapgraphicnovels.com. Yes.
Shout out to Max.
I've softened considerably on Mike Grell. I used
like in the last few weeks, or is this a
the last year? Okay. I loathed Mike Grell. It's silly because I bought and read and enjoyed every issue of Green Arrow.
Yeah,
he touched. Yeah, but somewhere along the line, I don't know what it was. I became a Mike Grell hater.
Interesting.
And interesting, it is. And I took a step back and I thought, why am I disliking this work? It's good.
Because what did the
yes, boy? It's beholden to Neil Adams. It is. but it's very good work. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be a McGraw hater anymore.
He's not he doesn't have the flair of Adams, even though he unfortunately had to follow him on Green Lantern. He works well following, like, Dave Cockrum after Legion of Superheroes, but he's not he's not flamboyant. He's not as dynamic. He's very good at drawing the more at presenting the more street level common man type stuff, like the Longbow Hunters, like John Sable.
I agree.
So he's good for that. But yeah, I wouldn't want it. It's. I'd have to go back and really look at the old Legion stuff to see if it's truly a good fit. It's. He doesn't strike me always as a science fiction kind of guy. I mean, that's why something like Warlord, of course, it was something different from DC. It was something that he was having fun with, obviously. And I mean, the man himself, he obviously didn't he used to do. No, I'm sorry, that was Tim Truman with the Grateful Dead stuff. And he still has, I mean, and Grell, rightfully so, he still has his fans. His table looked busy at Baltimore. The Kickstarter seemed to do well when he puts those out. So there's still people out there interested in his work. So
yeah, and I'm sorry, Mike Grell.
Look at you all grown up.
Right?
All grown up, yeah.
Tis the season.
Well, it sounds like ice cubes.
You've been drinking the nog?
Hate it.
Me too.
Yeah, hate it.
I haven't had
but I
nog in
am
ages.
drinking.
What you drinking?
Look at you.
Double Trouble from Charles and Charles. Like I said, it is the wine of choice.
You do love that.
I do. It has a kick that is crazy. The initial, it's not like Jason. The initial mouthfeel is really good, but at the end, there's a little boom that is just amazing. That's my super scientific definition of Charles and Charles Double Trouble. Boom.
Nice.
See,
Toil and trouble.
I know you're on top of things, because that would just automatically tongue twist me into wanting to say Charles in Charge. So the fact that you can keep
the fact that he's a Trumper.
Oh, for sure.
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, we're not talking about Bayo, but I'm just. But as soon as I hear Charles in, the next word for me.
Yeah.
So, but what are you drinking, Jason?
I am drinking a delightful Brunello. It's Brunello di Montalcino. It's 2019 from Castello Finotto. It is very, very nice. It's too good for some people. I'll put it that way.
Damn.
Yeah.
It is called The Last Castle, if memory serves.
There you go.
Look at that.
Castillo is castle, and Finn is final.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Gus.
Oh, we
Restored.
one of Renee's coworkers gifted her a bottle of Patron Silver, so we whipped out the Partisan, and because I've got, even though we're not big tequila drinkers in the house, we do have a couple of tequila capsules. So last night we had crap. I'm blanking on what the hell the capsule was named yesterday, but tonight, because I still have some of the holiday capsules, this is called Sweater Weather. It's made with whiskey, because the fall comes. During the fall, as it gets to the colder months, I was always a fan of sweater weather. I'd like, because I used to wear sweaters when I was fatter, because that's what you want to do when you're big. You want to just keep putting layers on, because that'll hide everything. But this is actually, Jason wouldn't really like this too much, because there is that hint of cinnamon. But no, not even that you wouldn't like it, you wouldn't try it. But it's still, it's got a little bit of a spice to it. It's got a nice kick. It's definitely keeping me warm. When I finish this, I'll probably just have some straight whiskey, because I've got the bottle of Shanks from last week right next to me. So yeah, that's what's going to keep me warm tonight.
It's not the only thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought we were.
Boom.
Well, you're thinking along ways that I'm not thinking.
For reals.
But that's okay.
Oh, so we talking comics?
We had an assignment.
We did.
We did.
Jason came up with another assignment.
Did I?
And
Because you saw it was on a bunch of lists.
I think it was your idea to make an assignment.
Right, yeah. Jason saw it on the list,
should.
and you said we should read it for next week. So, yeah.
Yes.
we all came up with the assignment of reading Avengers versus Aliens,
Yes.
written by Jonathan Hickman, with art by Esad Ribić.
Never looked better.
If there's one character that I think Esad absolutely adores above everyone else in this book, it's Wolverine. His version of Logan looks just... The detail he seems to put in Wolverine's face outshines everybody else in the book, I feel.
Interesting.
With color art by Svorcina and VC's Corey Petit.
I love Corey's
They did the lettering. First of all, I absolutely, if you take the rest of the book and throw it away, and you keep nothing else but the AVA ASCII page, I love
That is a great
that page.
Yeah.
That is you have the aliens on one side, the Avengers on the other, the complete crew, the editors, assistant editors, blah blah blah. It is a monumental page.
Yeah.
It's a double page.
Yes.
Thread.
I'm with you. So we should set this up for people. This is obviously we were doing the OUFL last week. DAP's category was intercompany crossovers. We got to talking. We talked about the fact that Marvel now has, aside from its own vast character universe, has the rights to some other things, including all of the movie characters from all of those worlds, like Aliens and Predator, that used to be part of, Dark Horse used to have those licenses and made a lot of great comics over the years with all those characters. And none of us, I think, had read this miniseries until this week, or at least I don't remember us reading it. I certainly didn't. And it's been getting a lot of buzz. And in a year when, as we'll get into more next month when we do our O'Clockers, but in a year certainly that I guess the wider perception is that Marvel had a really down year. Very, very few Marvel comics are showing up on any people's best of lists. Their sales numbers are down relative to what is typical for them, and it's just been a rough go. And this book was one of the few standouts, exceptions to the rule, where you'd think to yourself, like, really, like at a year when Marvel is chasing ass, like is just dragging ass. You wouldn't think that a Avengers versus Aliens crossover miniseries would be the thing that rises to the top. It kind of screams money grab. It screams, like, oh God, here we go. Like, I think, in fact, if we go back and listen, I think when we talked about Marvel getting back the rights to these characters, I think we even joked, and I think you've joked, Vince, about like how we were sure to get a Wolverine versus Predator series, in short order, and didn't even really care. And I think our approach then was like, yeah, it probably is going to be corny. And so I gotta say, kudos to our peeps who were repping for this and got us to give it a try. I don't know what you guys thought of it, but I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought it was an excellent miniseries. I loved that it was 4 issues. We got in, we got out. They told their story. I was absolutely shocked at how much this draws from the Prometheus stuff. Like I didn't expect that, and I certainly wasn't mad at it, but I didn't expect that. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, this is a Hickman book. Of course
Shouldn't have questions, Jonathan Hickman.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
I think in the hands of a lesser talent, and that's most of the people working for Marvel, in the hands of a lesser talent, this would have been a cash grab. But the fact that Jonathan Hickman is involved, uh, and that it's set in the late stages of the Marvel Universe, everybody is either dead, dying, or on the last legs. I think that's the only way to approach the Aliens franchise. And I have a bit of a problem with certain elements of the book. We'll get there. But I think that he was incredibly smart. And at this point, that's like redundant to say that Jonathan Hickman is incredibly smart. We know this to be true. It's the time in which he set the book makes the title work. If he set the book,
Yeah.
when all the heroes reveal, and at the top of the game, I'm bearing the lead, but I don't think that they would have survived long enough to do 2 pages. I don't. I think the for the most part, the heroes that he picked are dead on, with, like I said, a few exceptions that we'll get to. I think the cover is a bit of a feint. The cover to the first issue is a bit of a feint because it shows Carol at her best. It shows Captain America, who's maybe in the book for 4 pages, 3 pages. Then, it shows Tony in the suit of armor, and spoiler, eventually he does, but he's old and busted
Yep.
when the story opens.
Yeah.
It's where I have a problem with enough things, but none so much as the cover of the first issue. Who is the Avengers are fighting the aliens? That never happened. Yes, these 3 characters do fight the aliens, but not in the guises they wear on the cover. No.
Right. Well, to your point, I mean, this book wasn't anything of what I expected it to be, which is not to say I guess I had many expectations, because what the fuck why would I have any expectations for what this book, what an Avengers versus Avengers Aliens book is? But it is a dire book. I mean, we basically start off with literally the vast majority of Earth being destroyed. I mean, like the aliens win. They take out the vast majority of the human populace.
They would. They would.
I'm saying, like, I didn't expect that. Like, this had a feel a lot more of I can't think of the name offhand. The book we read last year with where Cap and all of them were old, the old and busted. Remember? You remember that book?
The one from last year, or from earlier this year. But
was this year? Wait.
No, I think it ended. Maybe it may have ended earlier this year. But it was. We were looking forward to it. Yeah, we started reading it late last year.
But my point is, this is like an Elseworlds where basically, this is like last man standing Avengers. Like this is like last hopes of humanity, like last kernels of humanity trying to like hold on as a species. It's not like Avengers are taking on the aliens and stopping them before they do anything to Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes me. It gives me pause. And again, that's Hickman. He always inserts something into his books that makes me think. It gives me pause that deception is part and parcel of the aliens universe, where whether they like it or not, whether they know it or not, someone is working for the aliens, and that allows them to get a hold. Like the Shi'ar scientist, who's not a Shi'ar at all, he's an android. He is the one who delivers he spreads the contagion among
Right.
the planets. The Kree hold up, as the Kree would, but the Kortati, all of the races succumb, and it's tough for the Skrulls because the Skrulls don't have homeworld. But he spreads the contagion far and wide, and you're not going to beat the aliens. You're not going to beat them. Even your best fighter, your best warrior, will not beat the aliens. Whether it's maybe 5, okay, 10, 20, stop. You're dead. 30, you're dead. The only one I see among the cast who can successfully live is Carol and Bruce. That's it. Because Carol can destroy them from above. She can blast the living shit out of them. Bruce seems to be immune to their blood. If not immune, then it causes him discomfort, but he eventually gets better.
Right.
And Wolverine treats the infection like the Brood. The Brood were essentially the aliens, the xenomorphs. Claremont ripped off the idea from 20th Century Fox and inserted the Brood into the X comics, and they were essentially the xenomorphs. Even Kitty, who has a phasing technique, even armor, go down. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like it's all. I mean, there are things that happen in this book that, like you said, I think you said it right. Like there are things I really thought were super cool. There are other things I was a little side eyeing, but I do honestly think that Ribić was on his game though. I think the book looked great. I thought it looked very much like a European bande dessinée.
It's definitely not funded.
No,
No,
he puts a ton of time in the. I mean, I just thought it was really well laid out. I thought he had. I think when I do have criticisms of Ribić, it's often because I feel like he'll do the trick where he'll like hyper focus on one or two figures on a page, and then like the rest will be like pretty much like undetailed, which is a fine choice. It's not like necessarily a problematic choice when you're when you want to draw your attention to a specific thing. Like I'm not saying it's like a wrong for him to do that, but I think this book had a precision to every panel that I don't normally associate with Ribić. He seemed to really be into the subject matter,
But he doesn't do it all the time.
Right.
He'll on one panel he'll detail the living crap out of the ships or the interiors, and on another panel he'll basically do a contour line.
Yeah.
So it depends on the focal point of the panel, and I think that's a good way to play it. Where we get what's important to the story at the expense of the backgrounds sometimes, but it's. I do think T'Challa and his children would last far longer than most. Because T'Challa has proven himself resourceful. I still think he would die like a bitch, but but I do. But for the most part, T'Challa is off-world. And he's doing damage control here and there and everywhere. I do think T'Challa would be up to the challenge, but only so much. I think, yeah. Steve, God love him. I think he's again a master tactician and is super powered, but can only do so much. I think Steve would have died far sooner than is shown. And I think the fact that Miles Morales outlived Peter Parker is a joke.
No,
Hilarious.
yeah, you would think it's a joke, but
I think Peter is far more resourceful, experienced, knowledgeable. The laundry list is long.
Peter
But
would not leave his loved ones, so I can understand why he would be around.
Right. Peter would stand by Aunt Gwen, Aunt May. Peter would make sure that Jonah Jameson is living, or Ravi, or anybody. That's who Peter is.
That's why he would have gotten got.
He would have gotten got, and that's it. Miles is just a clone of Peter.
No.
Yes, he is.
Listen, Dap and I aren't gonna listen. We know you have a unreasonable dislike for Miles. It's time to get over it.
I don't. It's the same thing as Ben. It's just another Peter Parker.
No,
It's
whoa.
It's just not at all.
100% no.
Nah. You're just wrong on this one, man. Miles is a fully fleshed out, awesome character in his own right. He is far broken out of the bounds of being just another.
You can literally put Ben Reilly in any predicament that Peter Parker faces. You cannot say the same thing about Miles Morales. Ben is an absolute replica of Peter, head to toe. And he has his memories. He has his he has the same guilt. He has everything about Peter. You can say to Ben. Miles is different. His parents are alive. He's younger. He's deal. I mean, there are some absolute similarities with the whole school thing. But yeah, I mean, but I mean, you could. I firmly believe, you could take Spider-Man separate from Miles. Miles could be a completely different character and still be awesome. So maybe,
and he also has a symbiote.
Yes, which was amazing. Which was a great little swerve. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I love that in the conceit of this book. I mean, again, they're sort of on their last legs. They're trying to figure out ways to keep the aliens at bay. I should preface. I was not a fan of the whole Wakandans in space thing. I wasn't into it. I just didn't grab me.
But they would, right?
No, I'm saying your mileage may vary, but I'm saying that this is, there was a period here of Marvel where the Wakandans were in space and had established themselves effectively as another space superpower right alongside the Kree and the Skrull and the Shi'ar and all that, and that may still fact be the continuity. I'm not sure, but that despite that, I was okay with the setup for given the circumstances of this book. I think that the two interesting things are inevitably they're trying to figure out ways to keep the symbiotic nature of the aliens at bay or turn the tide. And one of the ways they do it, which I think I loved, is they take the symbiote who, and again in this book it's different. It's in this book, Miles is the living Spider-Man and he's wearing the symbiote, which I presume is the Venom symbiote. It's not really quite clear because Miles in the regular comics isn't a symbiote, but he's wearing the symbiote, and then the symbiote absorbs the alien, which I thought was cool. That's clever. It's like Parasite on Parasite. I thought that was neat. Two cosmic parasites, which one will win? And then the big bad, and as much as I guess we'll spoil, the big bad ultimately is Mr. Sinister, imbues himself and his genetics into a queen, an alien queen, and we get a gigantic, glisteningly metallic bright red queen with xenomorph with the classic Mr. Sinister diamond on its head, on its carapace, and that's the big bad, and it has all of the X-Men's powers, because at this point in the continuity, Sinister has cloned himself into having many of the X-Men's powers in his body. So that's pretty fucking daunting, because it's hard to kill a xenomorph in its own right. Now you have a xenomorph that can teleport, is super strong and has metal skin, and so that would be a problem.
I said duplicity. The fact that Mr. Sinister is the big bad is perfect. Yeah. Because he would be.
Yeah,
Apocalypse would fight till the very end
for sure.
because he's Apocalypse. The the fact that he gives it Nightcrawler's teleportation abilities is nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because not only is it harder to kill, it's Logan's best friend. Well, one of his best friends. So it's like trying to stop a xenomorph who's incredibly powerful that kind of sort of also has the powers of your best friend. It's a layer upon layer upon layer of guilt, and it's. I thought the Mr. Sinister angle was perfect. There, who else could it be? Think
Yep.
about it. Who else could it be? The fact that Bruce made a promise to Reed, it's hinting at that Sue and Johnny met an untimely end, and Ben and Franklin disappeared without a trace. The Reed made a deathbed plea to Bruce to protect at any cost Valeria. And unfortunately for Bruce, he doesn't do so. he did. Valeria meets an untimely end, and I would expect Valeria to be the last surviving member of the Fantastic Four. I would. It just stands to reason. There's something about her. Doctor Doom recognizes it. Reed recognizes it. Blah blah blah. The whole 9 yards. There's something about Valeria that can change the tide of battle for the better. Unfortunately, Bruce doesn't. Yeah, he screws up. Which is this is not a feel good book. There's 4 issues. None of them are feel good. Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, it does. And I kind of like that because it's we're talking the xenomorphs here. We're not talking the Skrull or the Kree. They can be beaten a multitude of different ways. The xenomorphs, you have to kill them. There's no two ways about it. That's my problem. Where for every Logan you have who's willing to kill the xenomorphs, you have Steve who's willing, he won't. But has he learned to kill? Judging by, events of the book, he has. But far too little, far too late. He's still Steve Austin underneath all of that hair. And, he, number one, he wouldn't be alive. Number two, I think it was a delaying tactic on Steve's part. You get off world, and I'll sacrifice to myself to make a pathway. Yeah, which is commendable. But that's what Steve does.
You can't be Captain America in space.
Y'all see the Avengers?
Yes. Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Before I came upstairs. Yep.
Yeah. Whose child is that?
What do you think? It's his.
What?
His and Peggy's.
I know, but
who do you think it's going to grow up to be?
I got to say, my boys were shitting on it hard.
Why?
What? It's
they
only.
Were like,
it's.
They were like, this is so corny.
It's
like,
50 seconds.
Like, you got to go fucking back to the fucking. You got to have Robert Downey Jr. back. Now you're bringing Chris Evans back. It's like, I think they're right. I think it's desperation, dude. Like Chris Evans was never supposed to come back. He said he was done with making
Yes.
big budget movies.
Yes,
like
he did.
I mean, I know they probably threw him a bag, but I think they threw him a bag because they're worried the movie's not going to do $2 billion, which is what they needed to
I
do.
think so as well. It's nice to see Chris Evans, AI or not. But I think you're right. I think they threw money at him to come back. I
I think
think
that,
he's
yeah, they're just they don't think that Sam Wilson and Florence Pugh and Ant-Man and are going to carry. I don't think they think people aren't going to care. They're not going to come back unless they see ScarJo and Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.
I
and
think
fucking
that,
Chris Hemsworth on the camera.
yeah, for the most part, I think they're right.
They probably are right, right? I mean, based on box office.
I love
We're
Sam.
on a tangent. I don't mean to take us on a tangent. You mentioned,
No.
and I was thinking, oh man, I just saw that, and I thought at first, oh that's cool, he's coming back, but then my sons were all like, that's whack, that's corny. I'm like, oh, it's interesting, like because I think they're like more of they're into it, but they're not into it like we are. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Like, is that how the actual like a good chunk of the MCU fandom is going to be like, oh, this is corny, like we're all like, oh man, great, it's great to see you guys back. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah,
I
we'll
digress.
see. We'll see. I just noticed something that Spider-Man looks like the anti-Venom.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the with the symbiote. Yeah.
and I'm
Well,
wondering if that was well, it's Hickman, so it was a conscious effort on his part. But what does this speak to the whole thing? Is he the antidote? He is.
That was a nice twist. I'm not upset about that. I was the overall I happily surprised with this because it could have been crossovers can go one of two ways, and this was this is definitely this leans in the positive, and it all makes sense considering the time frame or the timeline or when this takes place, and with and obviously whether it was Hickman writing it or not, that they take advantage of what Hickman did during the Krakoa era and having mutants on Mars. And of course when Coates wrote Black Panther and he had them in space, it's a neat little. I mean, this even without the aliens, this could have been a story set in future Marvel with some other big bad or just some ongoing story, but folding the aliens into it, which isn't necessarily two properties I would have expected to really kind of mesh as well as it did here. I can see why it was well liked. It really was, and it's I haven't seen Ribić in a minute, not since really Aaron's run on Thor. So that was that was a nice addition. But yeah, I really just taking this for what it is, and the fate of the Marvel heroes and what they're facing, and applying current alien storylines, pre-alien Earth stuff. This was, I think they did a really really solid job. It's and even with those that are still remaining, the characters that are still remaining, like Armor, like Emma, Logan, obviously.
Armor's dead.
Yes, I mean, and that and again, and even that, her demise makes sense, and how it just, I mean, it just, I mean, you get you grow larger, and it wasn't cockiness, it wasn't it wasn't arrogance or anything like that. It was just it was an unfortunate circumstance because, of course, what Sinister did to the Xenomorphs, and it just it was all none of it really stood out to me like, oh, that's crap, or that would never happen, or he went out of his way to make something happen that wouldn't, nor it just seemed like a natural progression from start to finish, and watching these dominoes fall and how our heroes had to overcome everything, especially a menace, a threat they've never faced before like this. Yeah, I part of me was, and it was a quick read. I think I read it like either Friday or Saturday last week, and it was just I kind of, part of me wanted more, but it was, this was kind of just, this was a great little capsule. You didn't Hickman did everything he needed to do in these 4 issues, and that's it. It's a you can pull the threads and go from here, but I mean, what Hickman did here, it's a great little capsule. Like I said, I have very, very few complaints with this.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
think they were smart employing Hickman because I don't see anybody else doing justice to either party than Jonathan. But at the end of the day, I think the Marvel Universe is screwed.
Yeah.
If even one of the xenomorphs is left alive at the end of this, it'll give birth to a queen and it'll start popping out eggs again. So it's just a matter of how do we contain. There has to be a radical shift in politics because you cannot be allowed to do what Sinister did again. It just goes to show that the most powerful creature in the universe gets n degrees more powerful with the powers of the X-Men.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not even funny. I do think Emma would be around. That makes perfect sense to me because she gets harder than Diamond, and she could, even the Hulk is not impervious to a tail spike, right? And he does his level-headed best to contain the tail spike, but it's only so much he can do.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't really matter to someone like Logan or Emma, who could, it with a modicum of difficulty shrug it off. You right? I thought I would not like to see a sequel to this. I know there's one. It's currently coming out. Gap versus Aliens, which is silly to me. And I think that everybody involved, from Hickman to Ribić to Svorcina, was at the top of their game. That's saying a lot for a tie-in book. That doesn't happen.
It's true.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It
Yep.
just doesn't. Where the writer not only knows the mythology of the Marvel universe, but knows the mythology of the Aliens universe and merges the two in ways that are unbelievable. Again, it's no surprise to me that Logan would be one of the survivors.
Sure. Like a roach.
It's like a roach. Worse than that. At this point, how do you get rid of them? If, like it has been said, if one cell is extant, Wolverine can come back. He can get burned, crushed, you name it. If one cell is existing, then he can come back.
Yeah.
And that's incredibly powerful. Yeah, I don't know my alpha level of mutants, but that seems more powerful than Omega Red to me.
Well, you're definitely showing your newbiness because it's Omega level mutants. That's the top dogs, not the alpha.
Oh,
They still got Alpha Flight on his mind.
yeah.
and I am as cute as it may have been in my headcanon. Obviously, Deadpool was left on Earth. Otherwise, he is, of course, someone else who would have managed to find a way to survive, I think.
Yeah, yeah, Deadpool would have survived. He can survive. It's just a head.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he wasn't in this to kind of just because I mean, levity's great and all, and you do get those those few moments here and there where they kind of just cut it with humor, but for the most part, he wasn't the character that I feel would have elevated or added much to the story.
No, I think initially I knew it was Bruce, but the one in the wheelchair, I thought it was Charlie.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and I said when I found out it was Steve,
Tony.
not Tony, I was like, really? Tony Stark? He'd be dead a long time ago. But Tony would protect himself.
And you needed Tony to have that connection to the Wayland Corporation. So
Yeah.
it made sense for him to be there and not
Right.
Roxanne or someone else.
I think it's extremely telling that it's not Yutani, Wayland Yutani. It's just Wayland.
Wayland Corporation, yeah.
Yeah. What that says is neither here nor there. But all in all, I was incredibly impressed with the 4 issues.
Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I mean, it's really well executed, and I just liked it. It was. It didn't pander to the lowest common denominator, you know.
No, especially it forces you to rewatch the movies because the stuff with the engineers is a deep cut.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Where
I did not expect to see them. That was great.
No, who did?
Yeah.
But it's Hickman, right? Yeah, well done, extremely well done.
Yeah.
What's all?
Yep. Now, Dap is not prone to hyperbole, at least not as much as you and I are. And our guy came at us this week and said that he read a first issue this week that was the best first issue he's read in a long time, if not years.
I don't know about years, but yeah, it's
Not
in
you
recent.
implied it. You implied it.
I did. I mean, I think maybe the closest thing might have been maybe Absolute Wonder Woman. Like, I mean, that's so. Yeah, it has been. It's been a good while. And Jason is referring to Wrestle Heist, written and drawn by Kyle Starks.
Carl
Stikes. Kyle Starks, colors by Vlad Popov. This is and it's reminiscent to a conversation Jason and I had a couple weeks ago regarding the things that pull us in with nostalgia, whether it's things like Stranger Things. So from the start, right at the cover, the logo Wrestle Heist is very similar to the Pro Wrestling Illustrated logo magazine, and that's under the Bill Apter, the Apter Mag umbrella. You got the Wrestler, Inside Wrestling, and Pro Wrestling Illustrated were the 3 major magazines. So the logo of Wrestle Heist is reminiscent of that. But the gist of the story is Sterling Steele, who's on the cover, is this promotion's top heel, and he's never won the big title. And so the issue opens with with Sterling Steele about to go into his title match for the promotion's annual Fights-Giving event, their card every Thanksgiving, and it's Sterling Steele's career versus the title. He either wins the title tonight or he quits the promotion. And instead of it just being a straightforward kind of a wrestling comic where you just see 2 dudes going at each other, Kyle adds the extra layers of all the the backstabbing and the pettiness that you'll see or you'll hear about from some promotions. And the promoter here refuses to put Sterling over, he'll have Sterling put other wrestlers over because Sterling is one of the best wrestlers in the promotion. So they use him to put others over, to elevate other talent, because he's really good at what he does. But the promoter doesn't want to put the belt on him, doesn't think he's good enough for that, whether he doesn't have the looks or the body or the charisma, cue Vince McMahon. So you have him putting over other wrestlers, and something bad happens in this match. The issue just came out, so I'm not going to spoil everything. But something bad happens in the issue in this match. After that happens, and you see Sterling talking to an older wrestler in the convention circuit, signing autographs, taking all the photos of everything. Whenever we go to cons, we'll see Jerry Lawler or Jake the Snake Roberts or Jim Neidhart, or you'll see when they were alive, you'll see all the other wrestlers who are still around signing things. And Sterling wants to get back at the promoter. And that's where we'll leave the first issue. But aside from Kyle being a great writer and writing fantastic characters, the art is great, because if you know Kyle's work, that's what you're getting here. But aside from the action in the ring, the petty promoter, like I said on the Slack, the tall tale that wrestlers always tend to tell when fans are around, when they're trying to talk about other wrestlers that they've faced in the past and how they've taken on, like, oh, the guy was so big and bad and he took on like a dozen bikers and he ripped off ears and they stabbed him and shot him and he came out walking and they put him on fire and he came out all of that is in this issue, including some fantastic back matter, where you get the Sterling Steel story, so you get his whole origin story and how they write up characters and how wrestlers will change from gimmick to gimmick, because he wasn't always Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was a Hollywood Blonde, and before that he was Gentleman Chris Adams' protege, and so you have wrestlers who have to mature and grow and change gimmicks because things get stale, they get played out, they mature. So there's part of that in the back matter here. There's a top 5 ranking other wrestlers. There's ads, but my favorite part was I guess Kyle asked industry pros and a WWE referee, who is on your personal Mount Rushmore? And a lot of the answers from folks like Brian Azzarello, Joanne Starr, who I talked about Total Suplex of the Heart a few months ago, Patrick Brower from Challengers, Andy Belanger, who of course is not only a fantastic artist, but he is also a wrestler. I was impressed with his Mount Rushmore, but even Box Brown, of course, who's done the Andre the Giant book. Jim Ruggs was just crazy, but you've got
Dude, crazy. On brand. Like my man is like you like everything Jim does is you're like, what the fuck did you just say?
I know, yes. For instance, so Jim Ruggs' personal Mount Rushmore of wrestling is Jim Londos, who's pretty much one of the very first professional wrestlers. Gorgeous George, who of course is the prototype for Ric Flair and Buddy Landel. Hulk Hogan, which is just, that's a throwaway.
Wild.
And
fucking wild.
And Steve Austin, who of course should be on, I would say.
I think he's on the. I didn't count him up officially, but I felt like he was on more lists. He was the most cited.
I think so. He and Bret Hart maybe, but
which speaks to the age of the respondents, right?
Yes.
Because I think objectively, as a wrestling historian, I think Hulk Hogan has no place on the list.
No.
Steve Austin absolutely has a place on the list, depending on your age. But I think the lack of Ric Flair mentions in this was wild.
Yeah, he wasn't here a lot. Randy Savage was on a couple.
Alex Antone said it. Azzarello said him. And again, Azzarello's probably what, like 60s.
Yeah.
He's older than us.
He's been on a minute.
I don't know Alex Antone's. I don't know I couldn't pick him out from a lineup, so I don't know how old he is. But yeah, I was a little. I wasn't surprised, but I was like, oh, okay, this is a certain age group that's being asked this question.
And I mean, and props to Tim Irwin, who is a retailer in New Jersey. He actually mentions Eric Young, and I think there might be 3 people listening to this who may know who Eric Young is, but
sure, you're just happy because he mentioned Eddie Guerrero,
dude. That's fantastic. I absolutely, dude. But yeah, so there were a bunch of. He even talks to Jay Gonzo, so he talks to Gonzo. Gonzo's got a great list. He includes Roddy Piper, so no shade there. But
no, Gonzo's is real good. Like Gonzo repped for the Lucha, right?
Yep.
Which is his shit. Like that's obviously his. But I thought I was like, oh, you know what, man? Like we like to poke fun at our boy like sometimes. It was a good list. Like Gonzo's a real one. I think.
And he mentions Randy Savage's Cream of the Crop promo, which is like he says,
he's a real one for sure.
One of the best in the history. So yeah, I thought the Mount Rushmore was great. I'm really looking forward to the next issue. Yeah, I just if we get more of this, if we just get, the back matter alone makes it. I cannot.
I'd like to be on it. Can we get on it?
I want to be on it if we still have time before the series wraps up. We're definitely going to have Kyle on because I want to talk about this. This was just a lot of fun. It just hit me. It was right place, right time. I sat down, I read this, I was all in, and then it just went no AEW pun intended. I just had the biggest smile on my face reading it, and then when it was over, I was just like this. There aren't a lot of books that I'll claim were made for me, but Kyle somehow did it. He tapped in, and this is something that I didn't know I needed this. It wasn't something that I was expecting. I remember seeing it solicited a couple months ago, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for this. And then when we got the image previews, and I couldn't believe what I read. This was just it. This made my month. I was over the moon when I finished this issue.
I love it.
I was so happy about it.
Yeah, to me, so this to me is a broader, like your excitement for this speaks to a broader concept I have, and we've obviously glazed Kyle the last few years collectively. Like we've talked about pretty much all of his work and been ardent fans of all of it. So like obviously we're big Kyle Starks fans. But for me, if there is a sliding scale of his work, and again I've genuinely enjoyed the vast majority, if not all of it. So this is not in any way like I like this, but I don't like that. But for me, this book is the Kyle Starks I love. I love Kyle doing nostalgic, niche, like funny adult crime stories. And I know that sounds like a lot of adjectives, but like that's his thing to me. Like if I look at to me, this fits right in with Karate Prom and Assassination and Old Head and Rock Candy Mountain and Sex Castle and Kill Them All. Like all like when he's in his bag, I think he's impeccable. I think it's just over the top in all the right ways. It's funny. It's jam packed with action. It's got just enough referential stuff to the genre that he's paying homage to, that if you're from a certain age and era of that genre, you really appreciate it, and you know that he's a real one. I think it's perfect for him. And I again, I'm not besmirching other things that he's done that we've enjoyed, like Where Monsters Lie, or the Mars Attacks, or like Rick and Morty. Like he's obviously generally speaking, he's a very good writer. But to me, like when I get excited for Kyle, it's for a book like this, where like he's digging into a trope and just like unapologetically like hammering that he's a big fan of it and assuming that the readers are going to be too. And I to your point, Dap, I mean, I can't wait for the rest of this. This is what I want from a Kyle Starks comic, and I think it it fits right alongside those other books I mentioned.
For sure. Yeah.
And I like the way he draws, like, I mean, I understand like our boy Fleece and Scotty and and Lemire and D-Dubs, like I understand it's way more profitable to write lots of other books you don't draw because you can only draw one book at a time. I get that. So like no shade at all, but like I like many of those other guys said, I prefer when they draw the books that they write. I think that to me that just it feels right to me. So I'm a fan of he's got a very simple style. I mean, like artistically, right? Much like Kent or Lemire. Like he's not blowing you away like a Mobius with his line work. But to me, it just feels like it's there's no like game of phone tag, right? Where like he's got to convey his script to another person's mind and hope they pull it off. Like it is exactly as he intends it to be, and I think it really helps. So
the facial expressions on the characters, I mean, everything just sells it. You just, there's enthusiasm on the page. There's energy. I mean, even the page where they're referencing somebody who's very much a clear ripoff of Dingo, of Ultimate Warrior, who's called Beowulf here. I mean, the promo that Kyle has him do, it's so, I mean, it's chef's kiss. The little things here and there that he adds in that reflect events or stories that happened in the real world regarding some of the choreographed stuntmen. This was fair. And it wouldn't, and it's not like this is something that just speaks to me because, you know, I'm feeling some kind of way right now. This took me back to the late 80s when my brother and I would buy the magazines off the newsstand and we would watch the wrestling on the weekends, and we would look at the ratings as if it's a real sport, as if, like, you know, you're worrying about like who's going to be traded somewhere, who might go, and it took me back there. So the nostalgia pull is really strong here, which of course just adds to my enjoyment of this. So kudos, Kyle. Thank you very much for this. So looking forward to more.
Well said.
Nice.
Vince is like, I don't read that shit.
Nah, man.
No, I don't have a good track record with wrestling comics.
No, I get that. I mean, I know you're a fan of Kyle's, but I know that the genre's not your speed, though.
Nah, I start off hot and heavy, and then inertia takes place, and it peters out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But there's no denying that he is a super talented creator.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Can I tell you guys what I'm rock hard about?
Please
Like
do.
turgid, like Viagra hard.
Stop. Number one, you don't have to work.
Are you? Wait, what?
You don't have to work blue.
First of all, you live for the blue, unless your brain is. I know you said you're mean now. Are you also a Puritan now?
No, I'm not Solomon Kane.
Well played. I am rock hard because, and I know that you're excited, Vince, because I know you love best of lists. I know it's your thing.
It's my thing.
But it's your thing. As you guys know, I've been doing for the patrons and the Facebook groupers the annual best of meta list, where I take all the best of lists that I think are well written or well produced. I don't use them all because if you feel like you're jabroni to me, I'm not putting you on the list. But if you feel like you're legit, even if I don't agree with your opinions, if you feel like it's well done or you have a big audience, I take your nominations for best books of the year and I put them into our meta list, and I provide that as a resource for our friends and listeners. It serves multiple purposes. It helps you discover books you may be into that you hadn't checked out yet. It also really helps, I think, with our participation in the 11 O'Clockers, as people have to, we ask them to vote for their favorite books to help spark memories. But that being said, I am really excited because, different lists populate at different times, and I keep an eye out pretty much every day. And if I see a new list I was looking for, I'll roll it in. But the list that rules them all, like the one I find the most value in, the one that I think is the most enjoyable to consume, and the one that I think has also got the biggest, heaviest hand, is the Comics Journal, because the Comics Journal doesn't just provide a list of their 10 or 20 favorite comics. They ask tons of contributors to the TCJ to offer their own thoughts. And those thoughts, there's no rules. Some people literally offer up a paragraph and say, I haven't read anything new this year, but I like these old reprints, right? Others are, here's my top 15 books of the year, and they rank them. Others will do a paragraph on a book or two each that they like. There's no real rules, right? It's just whatever the contributor wants to contribute, they can. Well, the TCGA list hit today. And just to express the impact that has, the meta list as of 2 days ago, when I last updated, had a very hefty 340 different comics on it, meaning that at least there were 340 comics that got at least one mention in the different lists that I had compiled, and we had compiled probably like 30-ish or so lists by then. Well, the TCJ in and of itself added nearly 200 books to the whole thing.
Jeez.
So as we stand now, the meta list currently has 570 comics on it. That is awesome. And one thing I did that's very different than years past. In years past, I just literally had like the book name, like the here's the book. But this year I have the authors, the creators, and the publishers. So what that means is it's like much easier for people to figure out like what might be for them, right? Because TCJ may have a list of 10 mini comics that are self-published that they love, and that might not be your vibe if you're listening and you're mainly a Big Two fan. So you can sort by Image Comics, you can sort by Dark Horse or Marvel or DC or self-published or Fantagraphics, like however you want to craft the list to figure out like what books you might be into and want to check out, you can do that. So I'm hella stoked. I think it's really coming together, and I will say that the leaders now that I'd say we're probably 90+% like populated now. Like there aren't too many more best of lists of consequence that I would expect to hit between now and the end of the year. Though there's a few, but I would say like we've done most of the work at this point. It's a pretty fascinating list, and I mean a couple like high level thoughts that again won't be much of a surprise to us, but are still worth noting. One, Marvel's down bad. I mean, down fucking bad, dude. Like I'm talking again. Like we have 570 comics. Marvel puts out more comics than any other publisher in the world, and take a guess. Out of 570, how many of the 570 are Marvel? Just take a guess.
7.
That's a very low guess, but okay. Okay. Dat?
21. I want to say 18, but 21.
Vince wins 10 Marvel comics.
Jesus.
10 out of 570.
Amazing.
That is fucking incredible, dude. I mean, that is, and just to, and this isn't a case of like, oh, well, all your lists are indie lists. Like, I mean, it is a very much a sampling, and compare it to DC, it's like night and day. DC is not only far more represented, but they are pretty much vying for the top spots.
They should be up there with the absolutes alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutes, no surprise to anybody, are the runaway hits of the industry this year, both commercially, as I understand it. I mean, we don't really talk sales numbers here, but from what I've gathered from retailer friends and Christina Merkler and stuff, like absolutes are literally crushing. Like those in the Energon universe stuff at Skybound are just crushing it sales wise. But yes, the number 1 and 2 books as it stands right now are indie books. I won't spoil for it now, but they're but then Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Batman are currently in the top 6 of and again, that is highly unusual because like these lists do have some mainstream voters for sure, but like it is very rare for 3 superhero books to be in the top like that. That is exceedingly rare. And they are fucking battling each other, and they keep ping-ponging. If you had to guess which absolute is at the top of the stack right now, what would you guess?
I can't. I already saw the list.
You already saw the list. There you go. Okay.
Which pissed me off, but yeah, I get it.
Interesting. Okay.
I would think absolute Martian Manhunter.
It's a little bit of a trick question. Absolute Martian Manhunter and Absolute Wonder Woman are tied for third with 17 different. They made the list on 17 different and 17 out of like 41 lists so far, which is a really high number because again, some of the lists have nothing with American comics. Like there's manga lists and Bound to Sine lists and stuff. So So they're tied, and then not to. I mean, it's not like Absolute Batman is at 16, so it's still right there, right? Like it very much could end up being atop the list as the next few come in. But one of the things I was really surprised by is that that the Comics Journal lists rarely, if ever, talk about mainstream books. Like they're pretty much like always totally change the construct of the whole meta list when that feature comes out, because they're just all about the indie comics. And dude, I got to tell you, so many of the TCJ writers nominated an Absolute book or two. I was like, wow, like it really shows you how they really hit this because it's like people that generally loathe at giving love to mainstream books are giving love to mainstream books. So it's pretty fun to see. So yeah,
I think that DC did with the Absolutes what Marvel tried to do with the Ultimates.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. So so fun stuff, but I'm real excited for it. I have read 37 of the top 40 books already, before I made the list. So I feel good. I feel like I'm on it this year. I'm locked in. I'm locked in as to the quality. So yeah. But there we go. And Vince, I'll make sure to send you the list so you can make sure you get your reading done before.
So I can hit the delete key very quickly.
That's right.
I was thinking of depending on how busy with the holidays and everything, and because of next week's recording might be different as well. If maybe going over some of the items on the list, being either surprised at what's on there, top 10 or 25 or something, is it final, or is there still more to come, Jason?
Well, it's not going to be final because a lot of places will do their list after the year. I mean,
Sure.
Personally, if just like we do the 11 Classicers in January, I personally think it's wild to tell me what the best of a year are before the year's over. But like pretty much, I guess, because of the internet, like these days, like everybody does that. We're like for music, right? Like we got our Spotify Wraps in early December. There's a million best movies of the year. Like I guess that's just the way they do it. It's the holidays and people want to. But yes, I'm fine with it. Because of the way I've added the columns this year, I'm gonna actually put out some infographics to our community that like kind of segment the stuff, right? So like I'm gonna have like the highest voted superhero books, the highest voted image books, the highest, that just so like again, because like not everybody's taste is the same, right? Like I don't think this is a spoiler to say that Anders Nilsson's Tongues is number one. It's a runaway pick for number one. Vince and I both loved it. It certainly, again, spoilers, it'll be on my top 10 for the Classicers. It deserves it. I don't know what spot it'll be on, but I'm not at all surprised to see it number one. But again, like I fully get that for a lot of our listeners, that's not the kind of book that they're into, but they sure as fuck probably then are into Absolute Wonder Woman. And so it's like, what else is on there? What's the word? The Batman Dark Patterns.
Yeah.
I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna fucking read it because Dan Waters, Hayden Sherman, so two creators we really love, and that book is top 20 right now, which I'm really surprised by because it's not an Absolute book, right? It's
the Hayden Sherman of the Batman book is not the Hayden Sherman.
No, yeah, it isn't. It isn't
of Ultimate Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh, well, that may be the case, but my point is like you put a book like that in the top 20, and I'm going to consider checking it out because I'm so generally like not interested in superhero stuff right now. So it's like, okay, that's doing something different, right? Like it's piquing other people's interest. But yeah, so DAP, I think it's worth doing. We can brainstorm that, but there's a lot of ways to slice and dice this.
It'll also help me put things in motion for what needs to be for my Classicers. Even though I've obviously got my list for the whole year, but it's nice to know just maybe
I just like this list.
I am.
No, I like this list, not even out of touch, but I like it, and I think a lot of our patrons love it in that way because it just sparks your memory. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh yeah, I read that, I loved it. Like, you just forget, like it's been a year. Like, we read a lot of fucking comics. It's like you just forget that you read shit, and you're like, oh man, I really love that. Like I'm glad I. So yeah, it's a super fun. And I really tried hard this year to expand like the inclusion of the list. So like I've included podcast lists. You know, like if there's a podcast that I know is very popular, and I bring up popularity. I know people because I like we have the O'Closkers balloting, so anybody that's that any individual can vote, and that's what that's for. But my view is like there are a lot of people that create content on the internet, and it's like no disrespect, but if you have 10 subscribers, like I don't know that you're like I want to include you with CBR or the Comics Journal, right? Like, but if you're if you're David Harper or you're or your bot or somebody like that or your iFanboy, where I know that you've got a broad listenership and you read a ton of comics and you have a you have a wide variety of things that you check out, yeah, then like I'll include you in the list just like I would CBR or TCJ. And then also I've been including YouTube people this year because while we're old heads and we insist on sticking to the audio, as we know, like most of the world, including comic criticism and/or popular like discussion, is going to the video YouTube world, and a lot of our not to say competitors, but a lot of our like compatriots, I guess, in this game now are more often than not YouTube shows instead of audio podcasts. So if I've come across any of those that have a decent follower count and decent view count, I've included them too. So yeah, so I think it's a pretty holistic view of what people are vibing on this year, and that in no way means that what you are vibing on, if it's on a list, isn't great. I was talking to Brian Newbury about this week, and I do the best thing I read this week column for our patrons, and I think when I looked at, I think I did like 43 columns this year out of the weekly columns, and I think at the time, and this is before I did the TCJ update, but at the time I think 15 of my 43 weren't on the list, and we were already at like 400 comics on the list. So again, to your point, like what you like isn't necessarily what the crowd likes, and that's fine too. So I expect that a couple of my O'Closkers will either not be on this massive list, or if they are, they're they have 1 or 2 votes instead of like being a top getter, and that's totally cool too. So
agreed.
Get into it, Vince.
Yeah.
I know Dog Tangle's on your list, Vince.
I'm glad it brings you so much joy.
I also put it, but to make you happy, I mean, not that you're going to look at it, but if you ever do look at it, I put a ton of manga on the list this year. I found 3 or 4 different sites that specialize only in manga and manhwa, and I couldn't tell you the first fucking thing about half the things that they liked, but I put them on the list because why not, right? Like,
why not?
Why not? So why not, Vince?
Excellent.
Yes, sir. What else you got, Vince? Come on, what else you got, baby?
I should whittle away at my list because it's getting
Got a nice list, dog.
Yeah. These 2 books seem to be talked about when they were first released. It's incessantly. The buzz was high. The banter was lively. It seemed like they were slated to be runaway hits. And then, as is the way of things, it died down. And I don't hear anything, if at all, about these 2 books. Now, the publishing may have something to do with it, because with one, there has been with both of them, there has been a long gap in between issues. And with one in particular, it's distributed by the publisher and not printed by the publisher. Either, your mileage may vary. I'm, of course, talking about The Sickness, which is, in fact, number 7 written by Jenna Cha and Lonnie Nadler, with art by Jenna Cha. Of course, Hassan did the letters.
Of course.
Yeah, and he even the flatter. Ludwig Olimba is the flatter. Published by Uncivilized Books, but the second one is not published by Uncivilized, but distributed by them. It originally was published by Image. Now it's published by the Humans Comics Group, comics with X, but distributed by Uncivilized Books. It's Keenan Marshall Keller and Tom Neely's The Jungle, which is a sequel of sorts to The Humans. It's the continuing saga of The Humans. And I just, both of it's magazine format, black and white, oversized, many pages, dot screens. They try and emulate the look and feel of the Planet of the Apes magazine. Mm-hmm. It stands to reason. But whenever I get these two magazines, I get overjoyed because they're so seldom published, and they light my world on fire. I don't know if you're reading them. The sickness is far too complex to go into detail. Safe to say, Daniel, Dr. Brooks, and Mary make their grand return. It's $6 and available through the Uncivilized Books website, as is the Jungle, which, as I said, it's a sequel to The Humans. It has a Don Simpson back cover. It has faux, F-A-U-X, hot moon pages that would do Jason very well. It's not The Humans. It is a sequel to The Humans. It's different tone. Mara and company find themselves in prison. And Mara is a bit of a celebrity that is targeted by the prison's religious groups. To be converted, so to speak. And it doesn't go well from anyone, really. It's very explicit. There's schlongs on a lot of pages, and it's brutal, vicious. It's one of those books that you'll remember having read it after you finish it, and then you read it again because you're like, wait a minute, did I just read that? Did that just happen? What? The cover is by the Waffable Oaf. I got the variant.
Nice.
Yeah, he does. He does. Ed Luce does the variant cover, and Danny does the variant cover of The Sickness. I just love Danny's work, but I guess it speaks to what Jason was saying in the fact that there's so much being published that stuff can fall into the cracks. And those lists that we do are very important. Not Jason's list, but the list that we...
Oh, that's hurtful. Don't be hurtful.
I know.
Don't be hurtful.
But the list that we do online and for our notes are very important because we can't remember what we've read,
True.
and it's not here. It's just that these two books, The Sickness and The Humans, uh, uh, The Jungle, sorry, are very near and dear to my heart. And it amazes me that more people aren't talking about them. That's basically it. It's just I'm gobsmacked that these aren't runaway bestsellers.
And Uncivilized, I mean, they even offer subscriptions, so there's really like no excuse for people to
Well,
miss out on
that's where I
this.
got them.
You're right.
Yeah, that's where I got them. Because I don't remember to order the
Yeah.
then when they come and I open the package and I see them, I'm like, oh, what? Yay, yay! That's what I say. It's amazing. But it again speaks to what Jason's saying about lists. They're very important.
Yay lists,
Yeah, yeah.
bro.
No, you love your lists.
I
Yeah,
fucking love the list, dog.
I know. I kind of hate them, but
Not
I,
asking you
I,
to be into them.
I want to say that I don't need a list to tell me what I enjoyed, but I do need a list to tell me what I enjoyed. So I could tell you, but I'd be lying.
There you go.
Yeah, I have a lot to talk about.
I mean, nothing's stopping you, but I mean, we got everyone. We all have big lists right now. We all have big ass lists.
Huge list.
Huge lists. Yeah. Go ahead.
You know, I'm not going to go deep on this because chances are very good. You already talked about this, but when you have 1976 UFO mushroom invasion, man sex, face meat, and her Frankenstein as predecessors, and this book outweirds them, something's up. I, of course, am talking about the Smudge imprint, written and drawn by Ichiro, my gorilla family. I can't even begin to. He must love boobs because there's
Who doesn't?
yeah, boobs are awesome, but I don't need to see them on every page. But we get to see boobs, essentially on every page. There's a lot of boobs in this book. It is an anthology. All the best horror manga is. Uh, my gorilla family is just one of the many stories uh, it, within. It is phallic in nature. A lot of the creatures are phallic in some way, whether it be the tail or the head or the body or it speaks to the phallus. Uh, and bugs seem to be prevalent. Um, it's one of those anthologies that you close the cover and you're like, I don't know what I read. I just it's Satan makes an appearance. Um, twin sisters make an appearance. It, necrophilia. Uh, uh, I can't. It's just too much. It's too much, and I read it in one sitting, uh, which probably didn't do me any favors. You know, um, there is a um, predisposition to eating strange things. Uh, I can't detail it without spoiling, but there's a lot of boobs, a lot of boobs. Alien races make an appearance. Tree fucking. D- d- uh, I can't tell you. The last time I read a book where someone fucks a tree.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute,
Yeah.
and gets a child from said intercourse. Not just one, but many.
Happening, you know what I mean?
Get in where you fit in. There is guts and gore and decapitations, and it's a singular experience where the boob seems to be preeminent, but and the phallus. So read it, but now at once. My Gorilla Family by Iijima Ichiro from the Smudge Imprint.
Smooth. I love it.
It is it's amazing.
Nice.
Now I don't know whether or not that's a plus or a minus, but it's yeah, you'll be pushed, shoved far past the line of propriety when you read it. That's all I can say. But there's a lot of knockers.
Knockers are good.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's true.
okay, they are, but too much of a good thing, you know.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, you're right, but still, there are, yeah, yeah, street. They haven't done me wrong yet. Smudge is a contender to my publisher of the year.
nice. If only we still had that category,
If only.
right? It could be honorary. You can shout them out.
I could shove it in it's somewhere, but it
She said.
gets kind of weird when 5, 6 of your, well, let's say 4, what 4 of your 10 come from the same publisher. The all publishers do it 2025.
Hey, whatever works, dude. If you like,
Yeah.
you like what you like, bro.
I like what I like. Yeah.
Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean?
Should we wrap it up?
What?
That's what I'm saying.
Jason's barely
Nice and
gotten to
fucking
his
fun,
stuff.
dog. Relax, dog. Jesus.
Ugh.
Just because you're done talking doesn't mean the rest of us are. Shit.
Wow.
Fuck.
Strap in.
that-
Jason's got a list.
Put that on your list.
Yeah. Who here has heard of the Mitford sisters?
Why does that name ring a bell?
It does, right? It
Is
does.
that,
Sound familiar.
is that the Nancy Drew clone? What's it called?
Hobtown?
Yeah.
No, no. The Mitford sisters are real life IRL sisters. Mimi Pond, who is known to many as one of the original creators of The Simpsons, she wrote and directed the very first episode of The Simpsons, actually, back in the day. But she put out a graphic novel this year called "Do Admit," the Mitford sisters, and it's basically a culmination of a lifelong passion for her. So it's "Do Admit the Mitford Sisters and Me" by Mimi Pond. It's published by Drawn and Quarterly. And I love, like, there are a lot of autobio or bio comics out there, right? Like a lot. And I think your mileage may vary. I think they, just like any other type of genre, they range in quality, in terms of, I think the most, for me, the ones that don't work are the, like, straight up, like, here is one person, we're going to tell you a chronological history of this person, and we're going to have a lot of fucking word balloons, and we're going to draw the people in panels while talking to you about the character. Like, that's hella boring to me. I often am like, why didn't you just write a biography novel and call it a day, right? So to me, if you're going to do a graphic novel or a series of issues that are biographical, like, use the medium, right? Like, what's the point? Like, I don't want 1,000 words and then basic ass, figure work. Like, that doesn't, like, to me, that just seems kind of superfluous and, like, pointless. Like, it didn't need to be a comic. So in the vein of that, recognizing that there are lots of biographical comics out there that range in quality, I think far and away one of the best, if not the best, of this year, Mimi's, do admit the Mitford sisters and me. And one of the cool things is I had never heard of the Mitford sisters before cracking this book open. I think that when you can make me interested in a bunch of human beings that I had no prior interest in, I got to really give you kudos. And so in this case, they were a group of women who were born in the early 20th century, and were, one of the cool things about this book is, like, Mimi presents it this way, they are kind of like the Kardashians of a century ago, like before social media and TV. Like, they were infamous. They were this group of women, all from the same family, that were, like, absolutely notorious for their respective life choices, like socialites who everybody talked about and everybody knew of. And what's fascinating is that they each were, like, vastly different in their notoriety, right? So, and Mimi, I don't know why or how Mimi became aware of the Mitfords at what point in her life, but like I said, she had wanted to tell their story for a long time, and she finally did. And one of the cool things about her approach here with this book is that it's a book that both chronicles the sisters themselves, but also chronicles Mimi's life and her interest in the sisters, which is really pretty much a lifelong thing, and how, like, she discovers them, and how that what she learns of them interacts with her own life at different points, like as she's going through, puberty, and then falling in love, and starting a career, etc., etc. So really fascinating, like, back and forth between her own perspective and her life journey, and then the historical kind of these women. And like I said, they were notorious, some more than others, right? So there was the oldest one was named Nancy, and she was a novelist, a relatively well-known novelist. She probably her best-known work was a book called The Pursuit of Love, and she was also sort of like the matriarch of the group. She helped create, like, they had, like, a private language, like Pig Latin, if you will, right? Like they basically kind of, like, the sisters all kind of, like, had, like, a code language that they spoke to with each other, which is where the title "Do Admit" comes from. And then there was, like, Pamela, and she was kind of like the country bumpkin of the group. I would say her life was, like, the least interesting, in that she basically just becomes effectively like I don't know how to describe. I don't know if there's an official word for this, but like a poultry expert. Like, she becomes, like, an expert in, like, chickens and stuff, and, like, lives on a farm, and basically, I presume, gets wealthy from that. But, like, she's kind of just like a farmhand who prefers hanging out with animals more than, like, human beings. An introvert. And then you get to Diana, who is she's the hot one. Like, she's the looker. She's your which you said was a hot one, Dap? Kylie or Kendall? I forget which one, but she's the hot one. She's the one that, like, everyone's like, oh damn, she's a dime. She was actually engaged to the heir to the Guinness, aka the beer fortune, and left the Guinness heir, like, mid-engagement, which was very scandalous back in the early 1900s. Like that was unheard of. To fall in love with and marry Sir Oswald Mosley, who didn't that name meant nothing to me, but he was the leader of the British Union of Fascists. So yeah, so she becomes an repentant fascist and supporter of Hitler during the rise of Hitler's Germany and then eventual World War II, which then brings you to their sister Unity. Now Unity goes a step further. She actually becomes obsessed with Hitler, moves to Germany and low-key stalks him, and then basically gets in there like swimwear and becomes part of Hitler's inner circle. And then because she's in love with him but is unrequited, she shoots herself in an attempt to kill herself. She shoots herself in the head but doesn't die. And then she lives her life with severe brain damage from shooting herself in the head. Then there's Jessica, who is a communist. She's rebellious. She became a communist because she fell in love with someone and was ended up being in Spain during the Spanish Civil War. And then she ends up moving to the U.S. and becoming a civil rights activist here in the U.S. And then there's the youngest daughter, I believe his name is, they call her Deborah. And she marries a landed, English gentleman. She kind of takes the traditional route that their parents thought all of them would take. And, is wealthy and landed and sort of lives that socialite life. She's the one that lives the conventional life that you expected of these women. But all of her older sisters do crazy, crazy stuff. And and so it's a couple hundred pages of telling these stories. But what's awesome is Mimi is a really incredibly talented cartoonist. She does amazing work, both in terms of full page splashes and double page really interesting panel layouts and free flow kind of ethereal panels. She doesn't do a structural geographic rectangular square panel every time, and she does a lot of panel bleed and just really really arresting and smart visual choices where every couple pages you're seeing a different type of a layout or visual choice that it doesn't at all feel rigid or structural or formulaic. I loved it, man. I loved it. The book is generally speaking in a blue a blue ink wash for the most part. There are some other colors too, but it's mainly a bluish wash in the book. I'm not sure the significance of that. If there was one, I missed it, but I do remember the color itself. I don't know if there was a reason for the color. But I just thought it was fascinating. And again, I think if you're going to tell me, if you can engage me for 300 plus pages telling me about 6 women from the early 1900s who I'd never heard of before and make it interesting and engaging, that's I think that's an achievement. That is not easy to do. And so credit to her for doing it. And I think the love of these characters and her interest in them really comes through. As I understand it, it took well over 20 years of working on this book, as a side project, for her to finally finish it. And so it's clear that she knows the ins and outs of these women's lives. She knows the nuances, the rumors, the innuendo, the what's real, what's implied. It's very clear that it's not something she was I think people would buy a comic if I did a comic about this, research it. This was things she was into, and then she thought, you know what, I'm going to do a graphic novel about it. So huge fan of it, and I think it's worth your attention if you're in any way interested in biocomics. And so so check it out. It is Do Admit, the Mitford, that's Mitford, Sisters and Me by Mimi Pond, drawn quarterly. It's awesome.
I'm torn.
Okay.
I
would assume you would like this. This wouldn't be a thing I would think you would like, but go ahead.
Yeah, the Hitler fetishism turns me away.
Well, sure, but again, she's one of 6. It's
right.
not
But
yeah.
Yeah. The question is, am I strong enough to weather that part of the book?
Keep in mind, she she's like a crazed, like she's mentally ill, right? Like now, I mean, like I don't think back then they had
You'd have to.
the glossary of like analysis to diagnose her correctly, but she gets obsessed with dude, stalks dude, and then shoots herself in the head because dude isn't giving her love. Like she's, this is not portrayed in a glamorous way. It's not like, oh wow,
Well,
like,
how
you know.
could it? Yeah.
But that's my point. Like this is not like a, oh wow, and such a wonderful life. Like hanging out with Hitler. It was like, nah, nah, nah. Like she was a fucking insane chick who's fucking fell in love with a fucking crazy Nazi leader,
Yeah.
and then like,
The craziest. Yeah,
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll take a look at it. Yeah. It intrigues and scares me.
Well, listen, you know that DNQ isn't going to do you wrong from a quality perspective.
Yeah, they haven't
Now,
yet.
now, again, like I always say this, like it's what I was saying when I was talking about the list. Like this is a comic that's not for everybody. Like if you're not into biographical comics, if you don't like period pieces, like if you like, then it's not for you, right? Like it's very clearly not something that, like, if you're mainly an Image, DC, Marvel guy or gal, and you're like, it's like, this probably isn't for you. But I thought this was super interesting, and I've read a lot of biographical comics this year, like a shit ton, like not intentionally, but it just ended up being that way. And like I said, it's a real sliding scale of quality, and to me, this is of the utmost quality because the visuals are unique and distinctive. Like,
Right, right.
you know, again, I there's a million novels about these people if you want to just know about them. Like, use the medium for what it's for if you're going to do a comic about it, right? Like, don't just make a photorealistic drawing of the person's face telling me about their life. Like, that's boring, you know?
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
Word up.
Yeah, what are you reading?
Well, I did read, because I want to get through the last two. I did read the first volume of Search and Destroy, which
fucking man, there we go.
which was an
Now we're
absolute
talking.
blast. The art is amazing.
I'm saying, right?
This, of course, is by Atsushi Kaneko, and it is based on Doradora by Tezuka, the Godfather manga. It is, yeah, it's just, you hit the ground running, and I appreciate that. There's just, with most manga that I tend to read, you get the flashbacks as the story progresses. But yeah, you've got this one woman on a mission, on a revenge tour of obtaining the body parts that were taken from her, and we find her. The story opens as she's reclaiming her tongue, and she's also after her eyes. But while all that's happening, we find out about her younger years, her earlier days, with the person who was basically keeping her alive and training her, and explaining to her, once he passes, why she is the way she is, and what she has to do to kind of make herself whole again. And of course, there's a youngster in tow who at first kind of just doesn't necessarily get in the way, just kind of in the wrong place, wrong time sort of thing. But then is on a mission to help our girl, and it's I reading the intro, because I'm pretty sure this is the first story I've read by Kaneko, so I have no frame of reference for earlier work, but this was apparently created on an iPad. I'm not sure if it was using Procreate, but according to the editor, it leaps and bounds beyond previous work, and the detail in the panels, and the city that they're trying to navigate through, and how populated. It's so crowded, and there's so many people, and whether they're creatures or humans, creatures or hues, that's just, it's, yeah, I can't imagine how long, and this was, of course, to be serialized in an anthology commemorating Tezuka. I can only imagine how long this this may have taken. I mean, even the fight, the duel of sorts in the tunnel as she's going after the gun smuggler who has her eyes. I really do appreciate the way the world is laid out and how these creatures and these humans kind of coexist and how there are of course rules and laws in place for everybody to get along and cohabitate and obviously there's a class structure, but it's insane, and I cannot wait to I have so much I mean, not discounting all the crap from earlier in the year and even years prior, like, you know, Terry and the Pirates and all the Corbin stuff, but I mean, I've obviously got I've got volumes 2 and 3 of Search and Destroy. I just started Mobile Suit Gundam, the Origin of Deluxe Volume 1 copy, which is it's thicker than a freaking Absolute, so or an omnibus, so trying to find a comfortable place to prop this up so you can read. But at least while it's thick, the format it's not as tall as an omnibus, so it's a little easier to manhandle that way. But I mean, I've just there's so much I have to read, and I'm really happy about that. I'm in a good place mentally where I'm just really excited about everything that I have to look forward to that's on my plate to read. And that's not the usual stuff like the GI Joes or the Assorted Crisis events or any of the Absolute stuff. Just the other things that I don't normally get to indulge in, or the things that are short lived, like 3 volumes of Search and Destroy. So I'm very happy. I know we're past Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful for that. I'm very happy with this holiday season with all the things I have to look forward to read. But Search and Destroy is just I knew it was going to be good based on what Vince had said in the past, based on what Jason has said in months prior. I knew it was going to be good. Just finally just getting the copies to sit down and read. It's one thing to have a preconceived notion about what to expect and knowing you'll be looking forward or excited about reading something that your boos enjoy. But I wasn't prepared for what was actually on the page and how kinetic and fast paced and just it's so different from, like, while Dandadan is also at times very fast paced and action packed, and there's a lot going on, and if you blink you might miss it. There are a lot of quiet moments and moments of levity, if you want to use that's the word of the day. But this is nonstop, and it's Search and Destroy. You may find it difficult to kind of catch your breath in certain places, whereas other manga you can kind of just take your time. I don't see volume 2 letting up, and I have no idea how this story is going to end. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of it. But volume 1 absolutely blew me away. If you're a few dozen pages into volume 1 and this ain't for you, I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, once you're into it, you want to finish it. So I know what my plan is for this weekend. But yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. You guys were right, obviously, but yeah, it is, with one volume done, it's becoming one of my all-time favorite mangas.
About fucking time.
Right. Yeah, there is that.
That's right.
Yep.
Indeed. Oh, indeed. I don't even know that Vince has read it, though. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you?
I'm pretty
Of
sure
course.
he was the first one to talk about it, I thought.
No, he was not. He was not. I was.
No, Jason was.
Oh, shit, my bad. All right.
Yeah.
Guess to step it,
I'm
bitch.
sorry.
Oh,
Then maybe Vince talked about it on a night you weren't there, Jason.
Could be.
That could
I
be.
talked about the third and final volume just recently.
Right.
Vince wasn't on the show, so
Yeah.
how do we do with that? But
But it's based on Tezuka. It's
Yeah.
there's not a whole the story is written,
Yeah.
right? But
Well, yeah.
yeah, but the source material is sound.
Yeah, like we said. I mean, you may have said this as well, but the thing that really shocks me is that it's a fanographic book, right? Like it's
Yes.
just like it should be a Viz book, or like the fact that that Fantagraphics randomly pulls this super violent, super detailed Paul Pope looking fucking manga out of their ass is weird to me. But I'm not mad at it because it's great.
Strange. It is
Yeah,
strange.
it's strange.
They who knows? They must have got a deal on the rights, or who knows? But it's odd that Fantagraphics would publish this. You would think that Last Gasp would do it, or Viz, or even Smudge. Someone more ultra than it speaks volumes, but Fantagraphics. But such is the way of things.
And
Such is life.
Yeah, and I mentioned it's because of because it was under the Fantagraphics section. I wasn't expecting it to be the same size as most other mangas. I was thinking it might be a little larger because of them publishing it. But no, it
Right.
It fits right in with the rest of your mangas.
Yeah. All right. Bring it on home.
In your travels time, baby.
Yeah.
Do it.
Please don't pay too much for your graphic novels and your OGNs and your omnibus editions. Go to cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Check out our Patreon page. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. Yes, we still have a Patreon page, and we still give back to the listener. Check it out. Maybe it's for you. $2. Very simple, very easy. In travels, continuing to scratch off my list. This is volume 6 of Fool Night. It's story and art by Kasumi Yasuda. It's not hard to notice a shift. I feel like the focus has changed from, it was largely about Toshiro and his son to become a plant and give back to the community in favor of funding his mother, who's in a bad sort of affairs with her brain. But it's shifted focal points from the micro to the macro. It has blossomed into something far different than it started. Don't get me wrong, I still love the premise. I still love the world, but it's not the same manga it started out being. Is that a deal breaker for you? It's not for me, but it's not. It's definitely not the same. It doesn't look like traditional manga. The eyes are big, but that's where the similarity ends. It's more of a cop procedural, like a CSI or a Law and Order type thing, where the focal point is on the blood, the carnage. Don't get me wrong, but it's less about Toshiro and more about the organization, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
So fully, and I read volumes 13, 14, and 15 of Yukinobu Tatsu's Dandadan, even with the assistants and flyers and background artists and people that help in the production of the manga, the carnage is unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. You can be pulled into this world. The focal point is Fomola, and now she was maligned by most of the cast for not speaking her mind, for good reason. But most of it is her story and what she went through to get to the cast. But the alien invaders, I want to call them, what they do is it's unbelievable. Is it? Deb, you've read it? Are you caught up?
I am. I'm. It depends on what chapters are in 14. Because I pulled back on reading it in the app because I'm getting the chapters when they come out. So I'm not trying to go too far ahead of you. So I'm not sure what's happening in volume 14.
14. Let me get it. It's right here. Again, it's focused on Vomola, so it's 112 to 120.
I am pretty sure out to that.
It says so. Volume 15, which it would be 121 to 120.
Yes, because I'm in chapter 180s. So yeah, okay. So yeah, I'm
Okay. It is unbelievable to me the level of detail that is on every stinking page.
Yeah.
It looks to me like even with the assistants that it would take forever to produce a sequential art of this caliber. And the Yukinobu Tatsu doesn't pull back at all. The level of detail is incredible. We're talking like blasted out bodies where every pipe, every rock, every you name it, every parts of the costume are removed, and it's just the only word I can come up with to describe is intricate. Doesn't even cut it. No, it does. It leaves something to be desired, where it's just intricate and layered, and it's incredible. I still haven't had my payoff, even though
Nope.
he did have Okurin did have the ability to say it, but he didn't.
Nope.
He cheaped out. Yeah, Momo's incredibly powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think we've fully grasped how powerful Momo is. And Granny and the Serpolans and Velmola, and we get a part of the story. I think it's in 15, where the evil eye Gigi it says that he's going to destroy Okurin. Well, I guess I can fight you now. And he's all about to take him out, and then he stops. Like, just, I get the impression that he forgets about it in favor of the aliens, which is okay. But the suit, Vomol, the suit changes, and it's just incredible. It's absolutely, a lot of the reason we read comics is because we want to recapture the joy of finding a book that does something that other comics don't do. Dan does that. I can't put my finger on it, but it only happens in Dandadan. I'm grateful, but what is it about this manga that is so captivating? I don't know. Is it the gas? Is it the carnage? One could list a million different things and never come to the end. But if you're not reading Dandadan, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a massive disservice.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Every time they eat, if you look at it now, like if you jump to like chapter 170 something, like and you look at the collection of characters, it may feel daunting, but starting from the beginning, and as other people have joined in on the fight, it's grown organically. It seems like just a natural progression from chapter to chapter. The adventures that, not even adventures, but the situations they find themselves in. You've got
I think
some
it's
fun.
planned that way.
It's got to be.
It would be daunting otherwise because the cast is huge.
Right. And you've got some fun brawls ahead of you. You've got there's
Shopping for Gundam. They were shopping for Gundam. Stop.
and even the characters that I should be annoyed by, like homeboy with the glass, like it's who just, you know, who's so full of himself, like but it fits in the context of the story and where he fits in with everyone else. And I'm in awe by the way characters and situations are introduced and the power sets. It's just, yeah, it's a manga I am extremely happy that I'm sticking with. That it's, I mean, it's at this point, it's as much as I'm fond of Chainsaw Man, this has surpassed it as my current favorite. I think this is one of those books where if someone asked, like, what's a manga I should try, I wouldn't even ask, like, what are you into, or you sci-fi, your horror. I would recommend this, because it feels like this feels like what manga is, and whether I'm just, you know, speaking as a Iijima who just, you know, doesn't know shit from Shinola, I really am fascinated by this work, because it was so, I don't want to say unassuming, but even just luring you in from the beginning with these two students who just, you know, who one's a conspiracy theorist, one's all about the occult, and then here's Grandma, and it's like right there, I'm like, well, fuck, you introduce Grandma, I'm hooked. Like, I just give me a book with Grandma and I'm good. But there is something about this book that just has me. This is a reason alone for me to keep the Shonen Jump subscription. But I mean, never mind the fact of everything else that's included with this. But man, it's just
$2.99, right?
I think it might be $3.99 now, but still, whether it's $2.99 or $3.99, it's just. But yeah, it's absolutely worth it. But Dan is an absolute delight, and
well, you keep Badmouth and Kenta, we're gonna have words. He basically saves the day.
I know, but oh my god! But I can give somebody their flowers. I'll give you your propers for saving the day, but it's where I'm not, where you lose me, and this is a me thing, where I have issues with those who. That's fine, you know. It's not boasting if you can do it, but the ego, and whether that's overcompensating because listen, he knows what he looks like. He knows,
He
he's
knows
not
he's shit.
right. But
So he inflates his himself beyond the average to compensate for
but
the fact that he's
when you want to take the accolades, when you want to think you saved the day, when you didn't do it by yourself, that's when I'm going to badmouth you. I understand. Listen, he plays his part. He's part of the group. It's great. You're going to form like Voltron and kick the asses of everybody bad. That's great. But you didn't do it yourself. So because of that, I'm going to kick you in the shin a little bit.
He kind of did.
Oh my god.
If it wasn't for Kinta, they'd be in rough shape.
I'm not reading this for Kinta. I understand he serves a purpose. I'm glad he's there.
And it gets arguably the hottest girl. Arguably, I said it. Grandpa's the best, but arguably, yeah. Well, Momola is basically naked in Volume 15.
That doesn't make
She's
it better than
basically
Momo.
naked.
That doesn't make it better than Momo.
Well, Momo's taken.
Sure.
She just
She doesn't know. She doesn't want to admit it yet. But yeah,
Yeah.
So fine. So he's got the hottest available girl. We'll say that.
Read it. It is so good.
Yes.
If you're not reading it, I don't know what to. Yeah, shame on you.
It is. It's definitely the manga you should be reading. In your travels, the spiritual successor to All-Star Superman, Superman: The Kryptonite Spectrum, has wrapped up. All 5 issues are done.
Is it though?
The 5 issues are done.
I mean, no, I'm saying, is it the spiritual successor also?
Yes. I believe that 100%. I think that it evokes for me. It gives me that it's that Silver Age goofiness. It's that and even to some
Somebody's
degree,
reading it.
huh?
Somebody's reading it.
I mean it. So book 5, W. Maxwell Prince is your writer. Martin Marazzo is your artist. Chris O'Halloran on colors. It's the creative team for Ice Cream Man. Superman is now face to face with the Kryptonite Man, and Lex Luthor is his shadow, who basically kind of destroying Metropolis, trying to take Superman down, hitting him with all the different colors of the rainbow, and Superman has his friends with him. It's a battle that it's we're not really sure how this battle may end, and Superman is definitely behaving like this is his last hurrah, and he's sacrificing everything. It's obviously not set in continuity. It's like I said, it's got that Silver Age goofiness because we have Kal-El, who's of course an imp from the 5th dimension. So he's not quite Mxyzptlk, but he's more Batmite than anything else. It was a blast. The art was fantastic. The story was just good fun. There's actually a Quietly homage in the book from All Star Superman. There's fun here. If you are missing those Silver Age, I don't know how old you'd be, but if you are missing those Silver Age stories, this kind of scratches that itch. It's obviously not a direct sequel to All Star Superman, but it gives you that feeling. It's still that doesn't take itself too serious. It's even though the situation Superman finds himself in can be dire, is quite serious. It ends. I felt it ends in in a fitting way, and it ends with an asterisk. And if you've been reading the series, you kind of know what that means. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I cannot wait to get this collected edition in my hands. In your travels, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum.
There is a reason why both Batman and Superman have a mite from the fifth dimension.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. It was presented in the Snyder Tiny Onion Justice League run.
Oh, yeah,
All
we'll
right.
have to hear about that next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. In your travels, I have a big ass fucking tome for y'all. I'm talking about, sometimes you buy a comic and you read it with the quickness and you enjoy it, but you're like, God damn, that was quick. Like, did I get my money's worth? I guarantee you that you will get your money's worth if you avail yourselves of buying this. And it's only $20 retail, which means on cheap graphic novels, it's probably going to cost you like $14? Make you holler?
Yeah.
$14 for the following 470 glorious pages of sequential storytelling, plus, as if that weren't enough, plus another 50 pages of back matter reference material.
Wait a minute. You read it?
I did. I am talking about More Weight, a Salem Story, written and drawn by Ben Wiki. Published by, talk about Blast from the Past, Top Shelf Productions. Shout out to Chris Staros. Yeah. This is an awesome book. It is, now, if any of you were listening to this and you heard I said earlier, you would be fair to say, wait a minute, Woodrow, isn't this a historical biographical comic that is lots of people standing around talking about what's happening? It is. It is. And that's why it's my In Your Travels, because it is I would say it's fair to say that this is a wordy comic. There are a ton of very detailed word-heavy word balloons. Some pages, I would say half the page is words. And that's why I can't go full on with it. But I will say that in spite of that, the rest of the construction of the book and the content makes it worth your effort. Like I said, it's 470 pages. A little back history here. Ben is Boston born and raised. He's a New Englander. He's always, as a result of living up there, been interested in the Salem history. History of Salem and the witch trials and the like. And for 10 years, he endeavored to make a graphic novel about the Salem witch trials, and and worked in cartooning to make his living during the process. Worked on a couple different cartoons and the like. But and this is where it gets pretty neat. He was really feeling frustrated because he felt like he wasn't really getting getting where he needed to be. He had seen, while he was in college at CalArts, he had seen a play, an adaptation of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's play Corey of the Salem Farms, which is an 1800s play from Longfellow that was about the Salem. He saw a play and he thought that would make a fascinating. And I'm from the area, this would be fun. So he started working on it. But 5-6 years in, he's still getting nowhere. He's having trouble getting publishers interested. He's not progressing. So randomly, he writes a handwritten letter to none other than the GOAT, Alan Moore. He writes Alan Moore a letter because he knows that Alan is from Northampton, England, and that's actually where Giles Corey is from, which is the centerpiece of the book. Giles Corey is someone that moved to Salem, as one of the early settlers, and he is one of the key people of the Salem witch trial history. In fact, the graphic novel's title, More Weight, is a homage to what the historical accounts say Giles Corey said were his last words as he was being pressed to death by he was being accused of being a witch, and he was being crushed to death by weight, and he said more weight. That was his parting words. But anyway, Wiki, frustrated, writes a letter to Alan Moore and says, hey, you're from Northampton. Giles Corey from Northampton. I love your work. trying to make a graphic novel about this. Any help would be welcome, right? Now, again, this was 2019. This isn't like 1970. The odds that you would write Alan Moore in 2019 and think that he's going to write back, like, fucking astronomical, right? Like, about the balls in this kid. But, as you might guess, Alan Moore fucking writes him back. He writes him back because, and again, this shouldn't be a surprise to those listening about Alan Moore. Alan Moore, from Northampton, he also is a huge fan of the occult. And so he happens to know quite a lot about the Salem witch trials. And he knows quite a lot about Giles Corey. So he writes the kid back in a really long letter with like ephemera, and like he includes like a package with like different historical documents. Like he's on it. Like he's like the fucking Wikipedia of this motherfucker. And he says, and he gives him his personal phone number and says, "Give me a call."
Damn.
So this kid gives Ben Wiki gives Alan fucking Moore a call, and they start talking, and they become friends. And he hires Wiki to contribute to one of his books, the what's the name of the moon, you know what I'm talking about, the book Vince, the moon and the what the fuck's the name of it, the one about he does all about magic, that came out a
Great
few years
Wheel.
ago.
There was
The Moon and the Serpent.
Yeah, the Moon and the Serpent. Thank you. Yeah. So Ben Wiki's one of the contributors to the Moon and the Serpent, and that's how he helps make his living while he is working on this book. And he works and collaborates with Alan over the course of the next few years, and Alan really helps him piece it all together. So yeah, the Moon and the Serpent bumper book of magic. Which also so while he's working on the Moon and the Serpent book, Chris Staros takes note. Of course, like many of us being a big Alan Moore fan and paying attention to what he does. So when the book comes out, Staros sees Wiki's, contributions to Alan's book, and like a memory clicks. He remembers the kid reached out to him a couple years before pitching this the Salem book, and the rest is history. They connect together and says, "You know what, kid? Yeah, I've seen your cartooning now. Let's do it." So it takes him 10 years, but he puts this book out finally this year, and it is a fucking masterpiece, man. I mean, I would say I felt like I had some knowledge of the Salem witch trials, but what's cool about the way that Ben goes about it is he doesn't approach this with any kind of like attempt to imply that there's magic or dark arts or any kind of supernatural stuff. Like, it's very much played like for what it was, which is, political posturing, societal posturing, fear, like the mob mentality of things, and there's no witchcraft, there's no actual witchcraft, there's no actual magic. It's people being accused of things, and some are very clearly accusing people of things just to hurt them. Others are accusing people of things because they think shit's going on, because they don't really quite understand what's happening, but there really is nothing on. And he just chronicles it. And like I said, it's 470 pages and there's a lot of words. So it is very detailed. I would say it took me a legit week and a half to read this. Like, and you know how fast I read. Like, it took like 10 sittings to read this, because I had to read it in chunks. I had to read it and then had to put it down, because it is definitely an effort to read it. Not because it isn't enjoyable or I wouldn't be talking about it, but it definitely is a bigger ask than a typical comic would be. But I think what gets me through the wordiness is Ben's cartooning. He's a really delightful cartoonist. Very distinctive style. His characters do not look, conventionally like anatomically correct. They're cartoony. They have really exaggerated facial features. They have silly looking bodies. Some are round and very rotund. Others are thin and gaunt. But like, it definitely looks like a different world. And I think that really helps. It's one of those things where, for me, it kind of gets back to what I was saying about, like, if you're going to do a biographical or historical comic, like, make use of the medium, and I think he does that. Like, I don't know that I wouldn't say he looks exactly like any other cartoonist per se, but like, if you're listening to this and trying to get a picture of what it looks like, you can obviously look at see it for yourself. But like, I'd say he's got some like Richard Sala in him, like it's got that kind of like thin, like wonky, spooky look, right? Like, there's definitely some There's definitely a bit of like woodcut kind of inspired, like in terms of the way the panels are laid out or the backgrounds, like the deep, thick, like line work that surrounds things. So all in all, it really works for me. I mean, I really like all of the visual choices that he makes, but I found it fascinating. I learned a lot. I have no idea how much of all of this is embellishment for the sake of the narrative versus like actual historical accounts. But to the earlier point, there's 50 pages of back matter and reference. So this is legit well researched. So I'm going to presume that vast majority of it is based on a lot of hard research. Yeah, and it's great, and I think it's one of those. Even though it's 350-year-old tale, it feels timely because it speaks to the power of misinformation to shape society in bad ways. And I'll just leave that comment there to hang in the ether. So yeah, so do check out if you're interested in any way in the Salem witch stuff. More Weight, a Salem Story, written and drawn by Ben Wiki.
Currently 30% off on
Damn,
cheapgraphicnovels.com.
Skippy, Bippy.
$27 and change.
It's a fucking bargain.
It sounded familiar when you were talking about it, and I realized. So I just went through my files, and I had a advanced reader's copy from Top Shelf, and I started it, and I don't know what else was going on with the show or life, and I paused it, and I realized as you're talking about it, I never got back to it, so it's now back in the files, and I will get back to it.
Nice. You know what else? I thought it just came to me. Warwick Johnson Cadwell. It looks a lot like that. If you're familiar with him, like he's done a bunch of stuff with Mignolo, Falcon Spear, a couple other books. But I think his line work looks a lot like WJC's.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah to those of you that's wrapping up. But hope you. But most of you will hear this on Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to those who celebrate. We love you all.
They will?
What?
Yeah,
well,
way too fast.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Vince isn't doing it. They should have it. They should have it
I hope
before
you had
they.
a great Christmas.
Yes.
I hope you had a great Christmas. There you go.
I expect
It boggles,
they should have it for Christmas.
There you go.
it boggles my mind how many people actually listen to this thing. Max notwithstanding, I get emails all the time. It's so good to hear you fill my ears, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad you and David and Jason are continuing. Number one, we don't know any other way. Number two, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of people that do listen and take what we have to say to heart.
Yep.
I'm very thankful for that, and I'm thankful to be doing this show for so long with people I love so much. So,
Likewise.
Love it.
yeah.
Love it. Well said.
And shout out to Ian. He knows what he did, but yes, we definitely thank everybody for listening, for sending your thoughts, your comments, good or bad, whatever you got to say, for following us wherever you do follow us, for downloading us wherever you do download it.
Mainly the good though. We mainly want the good comments.
I mean, for our mental health, but
Yeah. Let's focus on the good comments.
As has been said in the past, you could have been listening to anything, but you decided to listen to us for the past 2 hours. So I definitely
Exactly. Yeah, right. You could have been listening to anything. You could have been streaming MP3s, but of music. But
Could have been watching the Creep tapes, Vince.
again. Yeah.
Did you watch the finale?
No, don't say anything.
I'll just tell you that his wife's in it.
That's
His real
not
wife,
what.
No, in real life, his real life wife.
Oh,
Yeah, Mark
okay.
Duplass' real life wife. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I love it. I totally blanked. But thank you.
I threw you off.
Yeah, thank you.
You
And
gotta
say
say-
goodnight. Well, what's his name? Fred? No. Tony. What's his name?
Tony.
Yeah, David.
Good
Fleecy.
night.
Deathstroke? Forget about it. Forget about it. I'm so on that book. And the Lobo and the Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman,
David.
Batwoman. Yeah. So yeah,
Dap and I got the full Deathstroke 1 year plan from Tony at Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
No.
We know the journey ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, come to a con. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
It's not like you've been busy.
Yeah. come to a con.
Oh my god.
Like a slacker. God damn. Strap one on. Get it together.
Thought that's why we're doing the show. We should go to cons.
Yeah. There's that.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry New Year. I guess we'll be back once before New Year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it for that one.